The Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. would have turned 90 years old today. His daughter, Bernice King, tweeted, "Remembering you on your 90th birthday and always, Daddy, I miss you." BET shared a video tribute with one of King's quotes, "Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter." Happy birthday to a leader, activist, and hero. The National King holiday, of course, is Monday, and we're going to have a lot more to say about Dr. King on that day. Let's bring in Howard University noted political scientist, Professor Dr. Michael Fauntroy. He's also nephew of civil rights legend, really an icon, Walter Fauntroy, one of the young lieutenants in Dr. King's civil rights army. We've got a picture of the young Reverend Walter Fauntroy with Dr. King's widow, the late Coretta Scott King. There's Andrew Young also in that picture there. Ooh, and
Bernice.
There's Bernice and Dexter King, absolutely. Walter Fauntroy, longtime pastor at New Bethel Baptist Church in the Shaw area. He was also the district's first non-voting delegate to Congress. I remember my many conversations with Walter. You know, he was talking about, leaving the district with a number of others and going down south, participating in the marches, often, risking his own life and that sort of thing. How's he doing?
He's doing well. He's doing very well.
How is he? How old is he today?
He is, okay, wait a second. His birthday is February 6th. He will be 86.
That's close enough. Tell him we all wish him well, Michael, okay?
I will.
Yeah, put on your professor hat. What do you say to your students today about Dr. King? Well, what do you want them to know, to be thinking about? How you put things in perspective?
Yeah, so I didn't teach today, but I will teach tomorrow. And that's a really important sort of question to lead with, because we're talking about historical context now. He's been dead 51 years this coming April. And most of my students right now have no real recollection,
sure,
but very little historical context. He's somebody they see in black and white photos, and the only time they hear him speak is when you hear the "I Have a Dream" speech. Right. So they don't know very much about him. And so my message to them would be, first off, go read his letter from a Birmingham jail speech, because to tie in Black Lives Matter in our current context with that letter, you see that the things that he was writing about then are just as relevant now, and it provides a very interesting tie-in for people who are sort of trying to figure out how this all meshes historically.
Yeah, and I challenge everybody out there, I Have a Dream. It's incredible, it's iconic. Give us something else, okay? There's a lot more to Martin Luther King. We want to hear the rest of it. What's your favorite Martin Luther King speech? Letters from Birmingham jail, that touches me.
That's huge. I think the Riverside Church speech, April 4th, 1967, 1 year before he died, I think that was a real powerful one. He comes out against the Vietnam War and talks about the barbarism of war. And I will tell you, again, as much as things change, things stay the same. We're having conversations now about just how much of our problems people seem to think can be solved, but with war and bombing people, and we need to revisit those conversations.
I need to be reminded, and I am, by old people like Congressman King, the words that come out of his mouth. I mean, he knows Dr. King. He remembers the words. He was here during those times. What is that about?
So in 2010, I wrote a piece in the Huffington Post titled, "The Public Discourse Deserves Better Than Steve King." All right? He has a long and indistinguished history of this kind of thing. And, I was a little bemused that the Republicans today decide that this is the day that they're going to sort of shut him down at some level, because he's been doing this for years and helped to deliver a president to the White House at some level with that kind of rhetoric. And so I just think that Steve King represents a different America than the one that Martin Luther King was trying to get America to get to be the best that it could be. And so, we need to speak out against that kind of stuff.
So kudos to the Republicans and to the leadership on the Hill for shutting him down, or is it something should have been done?
Well, listen, I guess it's never too late to do the right thing.
Right.
So I want to applaud that. But that was the easiest vote that a member of Congress is ever going to have. Who's going to vote to stand with somebody who says white supremacy is, how did that become a bad word?
Gotcha.
So I don't want to go too far with that.
All right, Michael Fauntroy, thanks a lot for coming in, man.
Sure, my pleasure.
Boys will be boys. Boys will be